Hello everybody, welcome into another lesson. So today we are going to talk about the circumference and area of circles. But first, let me bring on a special guest real quick. Come here, Weenie. Want to be on camera? It's okay. Come say hi to everybody, Weenie. So this is my dog Weenie here. This is Weenie. He's the one I posted about. He's having some dental trouble. He got some pain meds for now until the vet can schedule a later date for any further procedures, but I got him to eat a little bit. There's a small victory, but yes, this is my dog Weenie, who's I absolutely love with all my heart. He's a nice dog. He's always been there for me through thick and thin. Don't know what I'd do without him, so that's Weenie there for you. That's my dog if you're ever wondering. But we'll get to the lesson now. Alright, Weenie, go lay down for a bit, okay? There you go. He don't like being picked up very much, but I mean, he'll do it. He just kind of resents being picked up. But anyway, let's move on to circles here. So some of this might be a review from basic math, but we're going to review it here in pre-algebra. So, a circle, of course, you have a nice circle. Whenever you have a line that goes through the center of the circle, a line that goes through the center of the circle and connects one point on the circle to another point on the circle, that is the diameter. And then if you have a line that begins at the center of the circle and ends at a point on a circle, that's the radius. And the fact is that the radius is half of the diameter, or the diameter is twice the radius. That's always true in every case in circles. The diameter is twice the radius, or the radius is half of the diameter. I suppose I should write that. Radius equals 1/2 of the diameter. So we can use those facts here to find what's called the circumference of the circle. The circumference of the circle is nothing more than the perimeter. It's just the distance around the circle. That's what the circumference is the distance around it. We have two formulas here, but they both work. It's 2 pi times the radius for a circle, or it's pi times the diameter will give you the circumference of the circle. The reason pi times the diameter works is because you have 2 times r in your circumference formula. If you use the 2 pi r, well, 2r, that's the diameter. Therefore, pi times the diameter works. So you can use either of these two formulas to find the circumference of a circle. So let's say we have a diameter of 10 meters. We have the diameter of 10 meters. We want to find the circumference. The circumference would be equal to, we can do pi times the 10 meters. For those who don't remember, pi is approximately equal to 3.14. Approximately 3.14. It's a number that goes on infinitely in the decimal places, but we've all agreed 3.14 is the best approximation for pi. But most calculators, they have a pi button, so you don't have to approximate it. Although we're going to approximate the result to 2 decimal places. So the circumference, you'll take pi times 10 meters, so pi times 10, that'd be about 31.42 meters. So that's approximately equal to 31.42 meters. So if you have a circle with a diameter of 10 meters, your circumference will be about 31.42 meters. If you just take pi times 10. Alright. Let's do another one with the diameter formula. Let's say we have a diameter of 5 inches. So we want to find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 5 inches. So you'll take pi times that diameter of 5 inches. And then you just do the multiplication in your calculator, you'll get an approximate result. We're going to round to 2 decimal places or to the nearest hundredth, however you want to call it. So pi times 5, that's about 15.71. So the circumference of this circle is about 15.71 inches. That's what you would get for the circumference of the circle. Alright, so pi times the diameter, that's pretty easy. Alright. How about we work with the radius next? Alright, let's say we have a radius of 12 centimeters. So 12 centimeters is our radius. So we're going to have to use the radius formula. Since they gave us the radius, we use the 2 pi r formula, 2 pi times the radius. Or if you want, you can use the fact that twice the radius is the diameter. You can use the fact that 24 centimeters would be the diameter, and you could use pi times d. But we're going to do 2 pi times that radius of 12 centimeters. So all you got to do now is just put this into your calculator, do 2 times pi times 12, you'll get your answer. So we got 2 times pi times 12. That would give us about 75.4 centimeters. The result rounds to approximately 75.4 centimeters for our circumference. So I'm just taking 2 times pi times that radius of 12 centimeters. And I get a circumference of 75.4 centimeters. Alright. Let's say we have the radius being... What if the radius was 39 yards? So this circle has a radius of 39 yards. So again, the circumference is equal to 2 times pi times that radius of 39 yards. Well, we'll just plug that into the calculator. We'll do 2 times pi times 39. You'll get your answer. 2 times pi times 39, 245.04. So the circumference of this circle is about 245.04 yards. That'd be the distance around the circle, 245.04 yards. So, again, with circles, to find the circumference, you got a couple of options. You can use the radius formula, 2 pi times the radius, or you can use the pi times the diameter formula. Even if you're given the radius, you can use the fact that the diameter is twice the radius, so that's how you can use the pi times the diameter formula. But either formula, you're just plugging in values and multiplying. That's really all there is to it. Alright. I think we've done enough with we have done plenty with circumference. Now we're going to cover area. So the area of a circle, the total coverage of the circle is pi r squared. There is a way to derive the formula to use the diameter, but it would involve fractions. I don't think anybody wants to use fractions if they can help it. It's a lot easier just to simply do pi r squared for the area of a circle. If you're given the diameter, not the radius, you can use the fact that the radius is equal to half the diameter to get your answer for the radius. So let's say you have a circle with radius of 3 miles. We'll do 3 miles, okay? To find the area of this circle, you're going to take pi times that radius of 3 miles to the second power, which order of operations dictates we deal with the exponents first, which would mean you would have pi times 9, because 3 to the second power is 9, miles to the second power is square miles, or miles squared, however you prefer to say it. So now you just have pi times 9 miles squared. We're going to round the result to 2 decimal places. So pi times 9, 28.27. So the answer you would get for the area of the circle is about 28.27 square miles. That's exactly what you would get, is about 28.27 square miles for the area. Alright, let's do one more the regular way, then we'll do diameter instead. So let's say the radius of this circle is going to be 100 inches. So the radius of the circle is 100 inches. Well, you'll take the area, to get the area, you'll do pi times that radius of 100 inches to the second power. Well, order of operations dictates we do the exponents first, so you'd still have pi outside the parentheses. 100 to the second power, that's going to be 10,000. Inches to the second power is just that. It's going to be square inches. And now we do the multiplication here of pi times 10,000, and you'll get an approximate result to 2 decimal places. So pi times 10,000. Come on, marker lid. There we go. So the answer is approximately 31,415.93 inches to the second power. So the area of this circle is approximately equal to 31,415.93 square inches. That's what you would get. Alright, let's work with the diameter a bit. What if for a circle they don't give you the radius, but they give you the diameter? The diameter is, in this case, is equal to 150 yards. So we have 150 yards for the diameter of this circle. Well, the area is still pi times the radius squared. We know the diameter of this circle is equal to 150 yards. Right? Well, we need to find a way to get this to the radius instead of the diameter. So we know the radius is equal to half of the diameter, which in this case would equal half of 150 yards. Half of 150, that's 75 yards. So the radius equals 75 yards. Now that we have the radius, we can go through and find the area. Area is going to be equal to pi times that radius of 75 yards to the second power. Well, order of operations dictates we do the exponents first, so you'll have pi on the outside of the parentheses. Now offhand, I am not sure what 75 to the second power is, so I'm going to find that out. That's 5,625. So you'll have pi times 5,625. Then you have yards to the second power. Well, that's just what it would be, square yards. Which we can get an approximate result when we multiply that by pi. I'm going to go ahead and do just that here. Multiply 5,625 times pi. I get about 17,000. Alright, so let's see. 17,671.46 square yards. So the area of this circle is approximately 17,671.46 square yards, is what I would get. Okay, let's do one more with the diameter. The diameter, it is so critical to know that the radius is half the diameter, and that the diameter is twice the radius. If you learn nothing else about circles, learn that, because that's going to enable you to be able to use the area and circumference formulas to learn that the radius is twice the radius is half the diameter, and that the diameter is twice the radius. Okay. Let's do alright, so the radius will be 74 feet. The radius of this circle is 74 feet. I mean, it's not the radius, excuse me. The diameter equals 74 feet. Well, in order to do the area, we need to find the radius. We know the radius is equal to half of the diameter, which would mean it's equal to half of 74 feet. Half of 74 is 37, so the radius is going to be equal to 37 feet. Okay, so we found our radius. Now we can proceed to find the area. The area of this circle is equal to pi times that radius of 37 feet to the second power. Order of operations dictates, once again, we do the exponents first. So outside the parentheses, you'll have pi. Inside the parentheses, you're going to do 37 to the second power, which I have no idea what that is. 37 to the second power, that's 1,369. So you get 1,369. Feet to the second power is just that, it's square feet. So you'll have pi times 1,369 square feet. We can get a decimal approximation to 2 decimal places. 1369 times pi. That would be 4,300.84 square feet. So the area of this circle is about 4,300.84 square feet when you do the multiplication. So with circles, let's ultimately pound in the fact that the diameter is a line that runs through the center of the circle but connects one point on the circle to another point on the circle, and it runs through the center. The radius, it starts at the center and ends at a point on the circle. Remember the fact that the diameter is equal to twice the radius, and that the radius is equal to half of the diameter. If you can do that, you'll be able to use the circumference and area formulas. Remember pi, if you don't, for some reason, if you have a calculator that doesn't have a pi button, which I don't know one that wouldn't nowadays, but if you do, pi is approximately equal to 3.14. That's about the best way to describe that number. So that's really it with circles. The next lesson we are going to do composite figures. We're going to find the area of composite figures, which really creates some interesting shapes. So I hope everyone has a good night. Take care.